This is giving me a fix until Vampire Interview with the Vampire stops dragging their feet and having us waiting all the way to dang on May. But this is giving me the perfect fix.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, then you can't watch every episode then.
I'll watch it again. Remember.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so very much for joining us yet again. Today, we're going to be covering American Horror Stories Coven. This is like the third season of American Horror Stories. But it's my favorite season because, you know, we're talking about witches. We're talking about, you know, all these different powers. We're talking about New Orleans.
Our favorite place. Our favorite witchy place.
Yes.
Welcome to the witching hour.
Of course. Now, I have to confess, I have seen this. This is probably like my third time watching this particular season of American Horror Stories. But, hell yeah, this is your first time watching it. I just wanted to get like your general opinion, not the specifics, your general opinion about this season.
And I love that you were specific about me not being specific because you know me, I would go off on a tangent. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we know that Elia can be a bit critical when we get things wrong when it comes to Louisiana, especially New Orleans and the witchery. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for getting it right and making it so believable. I loved this season. I will confess that some of it scared the absolute crap out of me with how gruesome it was, but I loved it. They got it right. The witching was witching every moment of the show, every episode of the season 3 of American Horror Story did not disappoint. Listen, I am happy. The acting was acting, okay? I'm just here for it.
So in maybe the first minute or two, this line occurred. Perhaps my talents are in the boudoir, mother.
Oh, perhaps, mother, my talents are in the boudoir. Well, we'll just have to find out after your wedding, dear. Because I know this little girl's not going to try to play with me in front of all of these good folks when I'm trying to marry her off in front of all of these suitors. But isn't it like some of our children, even if they aren't biological, you just have that little family member, somebody that is going to try their best to embarrass you at the most inopportune time.
Well, okay. We've got questions and we know you have answers, so make love to our senses in the comments. Drop them down below.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Do you think the men were upset about the comment?
I don't think the men were upset at all.
Okay, so let's get into it. All right, so we see Kathy Bates. She's putting blood on her face, okay? Her daughter is then caught in the bed with a black man.
Pause.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
pause
what you got?
For the cause. No, I'm saying we had about almost 3.5 minutes. I'm saying pause for the cause.
Gotcha.
We've got questions and we know you have answers, so make love to our senses in the comments. Drop them down below.
So your thoughts about that?
So I'm thinking at this point, African American Horror Story, okay? Because fact is stranger than fiction, and we know that there were some very, very sick people, and these things really happened, and they weren't old, just old. They're still relevant right now.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm watching this, and this is part of the nightmare stuff for me, how absolutely disgusting, deplorable to accuse someone of rape because, you know, your daughter, she was just going to do anything that she could possibly do to get under your skin. So she decides she's going to sleep with one of the servants or whatever, and you do the most vile thing that you could possibly do. And I was just outraged. Just, if I'm being honest, at a point, I had to just kind of stop it. Like, whew, I need a break from this because I'm in all of my feelings right now.
Nah, this is like less than 5 minutes. You had to press pause.
Yes, yes, but that's good writing. That's good writing. But like I said, fact is stranger than fiction because you're feeling all of these emotions, especially because of what I see when I look in the mirror. And I also know that this isn't just made up. These things happen. So it's infuriating.
And so I also want to say that when the young man is strung up, she's right next to, she meaning Kathy Bates. At this point, I don't know if we knew her name, but it's Madame, what is it? Madame
Delphine Lalaurie.
That name. So at this point, her husband is shown right next to her, right? And this man is strung up. So basically, this is a family secret. So this family is into this inhumane thing, the depravity of it all, right? Yeah. And you know, at one point we see a black man. Basically, he's caged up. He's just like, he asks this question: "Why are you doing this to us?"
And what was the response? The response was, "Because I can." Well, isn't that convenient? You know, and it's just like the things that she did to these people. You have body parts dismembered. You have, you know, feces shoved in mouths and sewn shut. And this is just something you just do because you can. And my goodness.
Okay, so we don't want to stay stuck on that. The next character that we are introduced to is Zoe. Now I don't know if you're like really big into X-Men, but her particular character reminded me a whole lot of the character Rogue, especially from one of the movies, because she's in bed, she's having sex with her man, and then she basically kills her man, right? But we also see that she was never told about her family secret. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know if there's anything that you want to talk about as far as that's concerned.
I'm with you there. That kind of also reminded me a bit of our girl from not The Boys, but what was the show?
Oh yeah, Gen V.
Gen V. Yeah, it's kind of reminded me a little bit of that. So I'm like, how awful. How absolutely awful. Like, okay, I knew I had power between my thighs, but dang, they say you got that killer. I don't mean it for real.
That's a real hot box.
Yes. I'm like, how traumatizing for this young girl. You don't even know. Now you want to tell me after the fact?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we started to skip you. So, well, now we know. Let me go ahead and see you down here to New Orleans.
Now, have you ever seen the television show 6 Feet Under?
Oh, so long ago.
Okay. Well, one of the characters in that particular show is also in this season of American Horror Stories. Now, she's the redhead. She's the redhead that shows up at Zoe's house to pick her up, along with the 3 black albino men, kind of looking like Men in Black.
Yes.
Did you have any initial thoughts about her particular character? I mean, she didn't do much, but
I knew just the way that she was in there, so matter of factly, that we would be seeing more of her. I'll say that. I'm like, I don't know who this lady is, but she's got to be important. Like, oh, look at that. And she just kind of goes about her business. I'm like, I'm going to see more of her.
So in the next scene, by this point, Zoe is now in New Orleans, and she is introduced to 4 characters. Madison Montgomery, who's a movie star. Nan, I'll just say Nan. And then Queenie. And then later, Cordelia Fox, who is the head mistress. What were your initial thoughts about these characters?
Hazing. When she first gets there, I'm kind of thinking about they hazing this girl. She's a new girl in the house, and they kind of mess with her a bit. And then we're introduced to the head mistress, and I think she's kind of like a person that is of great power, but shows so much restraint just from how we're introduced to her. But I'm thinking, okay, I wonder how this is going to go over me moving into the house with these strangers who are witches. And now I'm introduced to these girls that are pretty much gonna be like my sisters, and we couldn't be more different.
In so many different ways. Their powers are completely different. Like, we're kind of jumping ahead, but it's okay. Let's talk about their powers. So the first person in that name was Madison. What were her powers? Do you remember? Madison
with her telekinesis and her, let's just the title, Witchcraft, right? Of episode 1.
So, oh God, we haven't done titles.
Look, Madison is the embodiment of witchcraft, okay? But I honestly kind of fell in love with Madison a little bit.
Okay.
Her character. Like, she's one of those tortured people, and she has this super hard exterior, but Madison has a longing, but her power is something to behold.
Okay.
It is something to behold, because at first you think it's just a telekinesis, and then some other power manifests, and you're like, wow, okay, all right, Maddie.
And we also have Nan.
Holy Nan. Nan's kind of mean at times, but it's funny and so it's cute. Nan is clairvoyant. And along with the clairvoyance, she, much like another one of our Gen V characters, can read minds. She can read minds. So,
yeah, she's powerful in her own right. We also have Queenie.
Now boo boo. Queenie is a human voodoo doll. You ain't gotta stick a pin in the doll. You stick a pin in Queenie, and you're getting hurt. Okay, I thought that was the most bizarre power. And then Queenie is the only black witch in the house, so that had its own share of drama. But I think,
which we'll talk about a little later.
She definitely did this role justice. I love watching her as Queenie. It's just really funny. She has a dry humor. I really enjoy watching her.
Well, we also learned a little bit about Miss Robichaux's academy. At one point, there were 60 young ladies who lived in the house, but the number of witches is dwindling. Many people, just chose not to have kids. We also learned a little bit about the Supreme. The Supreme has countless gifts, and at this point, we don't really know who the Supreme is. But we then learn about Misty Day from the Lafayette area, who was killed for. Do you want to talk about this? What was she killed for?
So they called it necromancing, basically, and later they kind of referred to it as resurgence or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, they basically executed her for having this power that no one should have but God. But Misty Day is a very, very, very interesting character. She's like a stoner type witch, a tree hugger. You just don't quite get her, but it's hard not to like her.
It seems like you like all of these characters, even the bad ones.
Oh yes. Oh, by all means. And let me say this. Let me just put that out there, right? This out here right now. I have always been a huge fan of Kathy Bates. In Misery. Misery was my first introduction to Kathy Bates, and that psychopath she plays so well in so many different shows. She has quite a range. And even though I wanted to murder her in this show, the acting was on point.
Superb, baby.
Yes. Yes. So yes, we love the villains in here too, even the ones we want to execute personally.
Speaking of superb acting, Jessica Lange won an Emmy for her acting in Coven. And we are then introduced to Jessica Lange's character. She is seeking a serum that will keep her alive longer. After helping her, the man that's helping her, she kills him when he refuses to help her more. How does she kill him?
So this biochemist, oh my goodness, she executed him just so beautifully. Oh, the witchery was witching. She drained his life force. And it was like, okay, who is this woman? Can she be in every scene? Okay, I am in love with her like I'm in love with Lestat. I got to see you in every scene because you're going to make me love you and hate you, and you're going to bring the witching on 1,000.
Yes.
You are that witch.
Yes.
Okay, that witch.
Now, she was displaying a number of different powers at this point, right?
First of all, Witchcraft.
So the witchery moved from Madison onto Jessica Lange's character.
Well, that's baby Witchcraft. This is prototype Witchcraft.
Okay, the original.
Yes, Madison is a carbon copy. Okay, a good one.
So Jessica Lange is Diana Ross.
Madam Supreme, you better know it. You better know it. You said that to me because you knew I was gonna catch that. Yes.
So this is the part that we kind of skipped ahead to. Well, there was a moment at the dinner table where the young ladies were seated and they were all displaying their powers at that particular point. I don't know if you remember this scene, but they were eating and they were kind of getting to know each other, and it was a series of things. It started off with Nan. Nan was telling Zoe that she didn't kill she wasn't responsible for killing old boy, and Queenie said, stop it, you're talking too much, you're doing too much. And then Madison was like, okay, I get it, you're clairvoyant.
Yes, I remember the answer.
Okay, do you want to tell that?
I thought that was interesting because this is not your typical play date. Getting to know each other and you are displaying your powers. Like, these are teenage girls. Mm-hmm. And you have the head mistress and she's explaining things to them and she's like, oh, are you the Supreme? And they start laughing. Like, huh? No, not her.
Okay, so in a later scene, Cordelia is mixing potions and then up walks in her mother. So we learned a couple things about their characters. There's some tension there. And how is it expressed, Delia?
It's very thick. She is very instantly annoyed when her mother shows up. Like, nothing good can come from this. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, what happened to this relationship? But she is not at all thrilled to see her because Cordelia comes off as very passive, very easygoing, and Fiona comes in like a wrecking ball. Mm-hmm. So I agree. The tension is very, very evident from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. So in that particular scene, so I know that even though you and I talked about it, you spent the weekend, you're up to episode 8, but I today went back and I watched episode 1 again, and the question that I had was basically this: who has a better grasp of reality? Is it the mother or is it Cordelia?
Oh, Cordelia don't know her head at this point from her booty cheeks, because Fiona is going to do what's necessary to keep things moving along. She knows how to play chess. Fiona knows how to play chess. Cordelia's still playing jacks. Okay.
Not even checkers, just jacks.
No. So, Fiona comes in like, hey, you don't know what you're doing with these girls. I'm Madam Supreme. I'm coming in town. I'm gonna go ahead and show these girls some real stuff, and I'm gonna take them on a field trip.
She said, she was just like, what's going to happen when, somebody records them using their magic
yes.
on Twitter and Facebook or whatever it was. She said it at that particular point in time. She's like, what's going to happen then? She's like, are you preparing them for that?
No.
She's not.
She's doing all that gentle parenting. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, but Madam Supreme, like, look, I got it. Don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. And then she has these clips that she don't mind talking reckless to the girls. I think it's hilarious. But when she takes them on that field trip.
Mm-hmm. Well, before the field trip, let's talk about this frat party.
Oh yeah.
So at the frat party, Zoe meets I'm going to call him the president of the chapter, and immediately falls in love. I'm going to say that she falls in love. That's probably not what happened, but I'm going to say for the sake of the story, she falls in love. But Madison, however, has a different story to tell. What happens to Madison? Madison
is coming in on some superstar Witchcraft stuff. Like, I'm here to party. You know who I am. You see me, flunkies, get me a drink, whatever. Madison is drugged and gang raped and filmed while at this party, and when the frat guy that Zoe is smitten with goes to look for her, he finds her and tries to stop it, which I thought was admirable. Because we know how fraternity life can be with groupthink. So I know that wasn't an easy feat, but you could tell, okay, this person is just good natured. So it was like, wow, and just so careless. Everybody's partying, and she is literally being gang raped in the next room.
And so, behind the president, in comes Zoe. She sees what's happening. She tries to console her. Then she says, I'm not going to let, this happen. So she runs and, she goes through the house. She goes outside, And then right behind her is Madison. And what does Madison do?
Madison flips that bus like a light switch. It was effortless. It was nothing. Flips the whole entire bus over. And I think all but 2 survived that were on that bus. And unfortunately, they dragged the frat boy that tried to stop it on the bus with them to try to get everybody to delete everything from their phones. Hey, whatever, just try to do a cover up, but they didn't leave the block. Never made it past the block.
And so the next day, obviously everyone finds out that, basically not the details, but they find out that the guys on the bus, most of them have died. So some kind of way Fiona knows what happened. And then
that's the TV and turns it off.
as if it's nothing.
Old news.
Nothing to her. So she decides she wants to take the girls on a little field trip. And yeah, clearly you want to talk about this.
No, Fiona takes these girls on a field trip, and we're not paying. I love this woman. She takes her to
Madame.
I'm not calling her no Madame. I ain't calling no Madame. I'll be damned. I'm not saying that. Delphine. She take her to Delphines that they have turned.
Not Delphines.
La Laurie.
Okay.
And yeah, she takes them to her place, which has been turned into a museum now. So she's like, you girls just don't know anything. So let me take you and you get you a history lesson at best. So when they walk out, and you actually sent me an image of this. And when I saw it in the show, because I hadn't seen it, or at least I was slightly exposed to the show, but this is my first time really watching it. So when I see them go on the field trip and they're walking all in a row, I was like, the art. So I just want to throw that in there.
Yeah. So they go and they find out a whole lot about your girl,
Delphine.
Delphine. Okay, so we're gonna call her Delphine. Okay.
House of Horrors.
Yes, the Chamber of Horrors. And then then enters Angela Bassett's character with a love potion. Chef's kiss.
And I'm gonna go find out. I meant to do it before this. If she won any awards for this stellar performance, I felt like I was watching Marie Laveau.
No, she didn't win anything, but I mean,
I'm giving her flowers because you couldn't tell me she was not from New Orleans. You couldn't tell me she wasn't Marie Laveau herself.
Let me say something. The way she said "mon cher," it was not mon cher.
Mon cher. Mon cher. Believable.
Yes.
Very believable. So she comes up and propositions Delphine because she knows that, hey, I got something she's probably gonna want. I got a potion for you that'll stop your husband's infidelity. And Delphine's character like, negress, get off my step. What could and she just continues with the racial slurs. Marie keeps her cool. Okay, because I'm playing the long game. She gets in that house. And I'm like, okay, all right, I gotta see more of this.
Captain Bates doing all this, and all she's doing is just sitting watching. Love it.
That's it.
Loved it.
Marie Laveau, the activist. Marie Laveau, the real Witchcraft. If you didn't know, now you know. Okay, you from doing Witchcraft, I got some voodoo for you.
And so next scene we see Zoe is going through the hospital. She's looking. She's hopeful. She wants to believe that her man is alive. And then what happens, Elliot? Come on, get into it.
She uses that power between her thighs to avenge not only herself for losing the person that she's smitten with, but she avenges Madison. So she gets in there, sees that boy in that hospital bed that was the one leading the charge on the gang rape. She beats that little sleeping cuts off, hops on top, and literally screws him to death.
Head full of blood. I got you.
Somebody, revenge is a dish best served cold.
Oh, he was hot.
Oh my God.
And then the last scene, Fiona, who does she release?
Let's see.
She opens up the coffin and she releases.
Oh, Fiona. Oh my goodness. Fiona lets out Delphine. At this point, we think, because they mentioned in the museum that they never found her body. Well, turns out, almost 200 years later, Delphine is still alive, has been cursed by Madame Marie Laveau to eternal life, just in a box.
Shitting on herself, pissing and shitting.
Just in the box. Look, I want to say this. I know the quotes, oh my goodness, from Fiona are so good, but this one's just so funny to me because I love the Wizard of Oz. But Cordelia is mad and is fussing at her mom, and she was like, I should have enchant the locks so you can't get back in. And she says, don't make me drop a house on you. She is hilarious. Like, okay, you get a chance. I will drop a whole house. You don't play with me.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't want to cut you off. At all.
Like, just as I say, this is child's play. Girl, go sit down. You are outmatched.
So this one episode of Coven compared to episode 2 of Feud.
Oh.
In terms of the performance of Jessica Lange, which performance was better?
I'm gonna have to go with Coven. And maybe because of all the witchery that I get so geeked by. I just give me Fiona all day.
Okay.
Just stellar. Like, and don't get me wrong, she's packing a punch in Feud, even with the few lines she has. It's just beautiful. But I think because I'm such a lush and I want everything, because I'm getting to see so much of her in this show, it's gonna be Coven for me.
Okay. All right. I just want to check. All right. Well, unless you had any parting words for us, look, we're gonna be covering Coven. We're covering it. Elia is into it. She's geeked about it, and she's almost done with that one season, y'all. I think, what was it, Saturday or Sunday that I told you about this?
Yes, and look, and if I'm being honest, I didn't dive in until the latter part of the weekend, and then, oh my goodness. Once I stopped pressing pause, kind of outrage and all of these other things, I'm like, oh my goodness, it's like, okay, now I gotta start just looking at this at bedtime too, even though I should not. But it was just juicy. Yes. Juicy. Yes, we love the witchcraft. Like, this is giving me a fix until Vampire Interview with the Vampire stops dragging their feet and having us waiting all the way to dang on May. But this is giving me the perfect fix. Okay, all right, good. Well, then you can't watch every episode then. I'll watch it again. Because remember, like some people, this is my first time. Okay, all right. Right, so I got a couple more in there. I can watch this a few more times. Okay, all right, I got you. Well, if you want to recap with us, press that like button, hit the subscribe button, join us in the comments, because comments it be going down sometimes. I'm just trying to tell you. Y'all, until next time, y'all have a good one.